Hello everybody, and welcome to House Flipper. It's great to have you here as we dive into a brand new series on the channel featuring a game that I have just begun to play and I am really enjoying. I played this game for the very first time just last Friday when I streamed it for a few hours on Twitch and had an absolute blast. In fact, I enjoyed it so much that I actually just played it casually on my own the next day, grinding out some missions and polishing off my very first house flip. So I got to thinking, this game seems so well suited for a YouTube series, why don't I just fire up OBS and start recording some footage and see where it takes us? And here we are. So what I thought I would do for episode 1 is provide a bit of an introduction to the game for those of you who may not be familiar with it, and I figured that there would be no better way to do such a thing than to tidy up the pigsty that the game starts you off with from the very beginning of the game, which is this fabulous looking lot right here. And yeah, so perhaps just turn it into a place that maybe someone might be proud to come home to at the end of a long day's work. And yeah, so let's jump right in. After this place is livable, perhaps we can introduce you to some of the business aspects of the game and start to plan out our next move as house flippers. So without further ado, let's dive right into the game. And perhaps we'll start outside with some yard work, which is made possible by the DLC, Garden Flipper. So, what can you do in this game? Well, for starters, you can walk around at the very basic level and just start to pick up weeds out of the ground. Just like that. But as you can see, there's a lot of weeds on this lot, and that would probably become pretty tedious. So we're going to find a better solution to picking up those. The other thing you can do is for things like perhaps this bush here, you can, if you wanted to just get rid of this and start from scratch, you can just go ahead and pull out your gun and sell that stuff off. So we got some stuff here, some more stuff here, if it's going to let me do it. Is it going to let me do it? There we go. So there you go. That's just like that. Now another thing you can do, if I can find, there it is. We have a hedge trimmer. Or not a hedge trimmer, sorry. We had a debate on the stream about what to call this, and chat was trying to tell me to call it a hedge trimmer. We call it a whippersnipper here in Canada. There's lots of different things that you can call this, and I don't really care, but what it basically does is you just activate this bad boy, and you can start to trim the grass. Now, obviously, it's particularly useful around the edges. Some people call it an edge trimmer. But yeah, you can just do this, and next thing you know, you've tidied up the edges, and then we'll just come down here. What I'll do is I'll just run around the whole neighborhood, or the whole neighborhood, not the whole neighborhood, around the whole yard, and clean up the edges so that it will make it easier to mow the lawn when it comes time to do that, just like in real life. So we'll just come down here and come to this corner here. Now, I will say, when I first got the game, I didn't actually have this DLC. This game was actually purchased for me by somebody in my community. Thank you, Josh. And I just had the regular game, and there was some things I couldn't do when I was streaming it. And before I knew it, Josh had also purchased the Garden Flipper DLC for me. And I have to say, it's actually pretty cool. There's a lot of new missions that get introduced to the game that are quite enjoyable. And it basically allows you to take a house, and instead of just fixing up the house and having a disgusting yard, you can actually go out into the yard, and not just mow the lawn and do some of those basic things. Let's go ahead and sell this. But also you can do lots of stuff. You can lay down concrete. You can, do all kinds of, basically make yourself a beautiful garden. There's actually a garden competition you can compete in when you're finished off your beautiful gardens. And yeah, you can do lots of really cool things, and we'll get into that in the near future. So this is pretty much what you can do with the trimmer. And now we'll take out the lawnmower, and I'm just going to spin this bad boy around this way, and we'll just take off and do the lawn mowing. And again, like I said, it becomes a lot easier to mow the lawn once the edges are done. Now, this thing's a little bit difficult to control sometimes. You get a little bit all over the place because you're just kind of back and forth with the arrow keys. It never seems to want to stay straight. But it's a lot of fun, actually. It's almost like I don't know if any of you ever played like the farming simulator type games. I know I have, and I love them. It can actually be super relaxing and just methodical to do this kind of stuff. So if you like that kind of game, you'll certainly enjoy the gardening aspects of this game as well. And certainly it's not too expensive of a DLC, really. The game overall is actually quite affordable and really actually pretty good stuff. It actually on Steam gets overwhelmingly positive reviews. There's nothing really glitchy about the game. Ooh. Okay, so now these here, I've actually never dealt with these before, are what I believe are molehills. Now, if you walk up to these, you can take out your shovel, and I'm not sure if that's just all you do there, is you just give them one good shot with the shovel. Oh, okay, whack-a-mole. I was gonna say, it kind of scared the crap out of me for a second. In the menus, for the game, you can actually turn off show the mole so that so you don't get scared to crap. So there's some molehills around this. We just got to deal with those when they come about. And yeah, so that's taken care of there, looks like. If we find any more, we'll bring it back out. And again, we bring out the lawnmower, and back we go. So, as I was saying, this game gets really quite fantastic reviews. There's nothing glitchy about the game. You know, sometimes you buy games and it's all right, but you know, some things don't work or things like that. One thing I will say is that there are a few aspects of the game that are a little bit finicky. I don't know, just cumbersome to use. Certainly I would prefer if there was a lot more options for doing the decorating itself. I've just come from playing a lot of Sims 4 and continue to play a lot of Sims 4 and doing a lot of, I'm going to actually have a lot of new YouTube videos out on Sims 4 here before too long. Doing like some house building and decorating and stuff like that. And that game has so many more options and so many more ways you can go. And so this game, while it's good and has lots of the basics and stuff, it just feels like it could definitely stand to have a greater selection. And to that end, I'm not exactly sure everything that will be included in it, but there is a brand new DLC coming out this week for this game called the HGTV House Flipper DLC. And I believe it's a partnership between the developers of the game and the people at Home and Garden Television to provide more content. And hopefully that is going to provide lots of new stuff that you can use to make this game better, even better than it already is, and certainly make your house flips that much more enjoyable. So you guys probably didn't tune in to watch me mow a lawn, but I guess since we're almost done, we'll just go ahead and really quickly finish this off. And as you can see, like it's kind of mind-blowing how quickly a place can turn into being respectable just by chopping down a foot of grass and taking care of some molehills and some weeds. And like I said, you can pull weeds. There are, you know, in the game, there's missions to like go and clean up a garden by pulling out weeds and stuff like that. And certainly sometimes there's weeds that appear not just within the yard, and so you have to pick them out. But the quickest way to deal with them is just to go ahead and mow the grass if the grass needs mowing, and that'll take care of it. So without further ado, I do believe we've just about finished off the yard, and we can move on to bigger and better things. Not that there's anything wrong with mowing the grass. I've mowed more grass. I worked at golf courses and spent summers cutting people's yards, so I know all about cutting grass. Certainly a good way to earn some money when you're a younger lad. Alright, so, did I miss a spot up here? Sometimes I'm not sure if it's a graphical thing or if those are actual spots that were missed. I think those are spots that were actually missed. Okay, so that's done. And the yard looks pretty fantastic, if I do say so myself. Pretty basic. Certainly there's no extra amenities to this thing. It's just grass, but it looks pretty good. And like I said, you can, if you wanted, you can lay down some gravel or some dirt, plant some flowers. You can put some trees in. Another thing you can do is actually cut down trees as well, but as you can see, we don't have any trees to cut down, so I can't really show you that. Now, before we go inside, there's another thing you can do. You can pull out your garden hose, and you can hose this bad boy down and clean it right off, just like this. And again, before you know it, the curb appeal is through the roof. Is this door? I'm not sure if this door can get fully clean, or that might be a paint job. So we might actually need to just go ahead and sell that door and get ourselves a new door. Or maybe I'm not sure if you can paint doors or not. I don't think you can. But yeah, we just hose this thing down. Looks like the outside, you can see there's a lot of dirt on the edges here. You just hose these down. Windows are all messed up. We can just clean those off here. From the outside anyway, we'll have to clean it from the inside as well. Like this. And you can see in the mini map as well. You can see it clearly just by looking at it as well. You can see all this dirt and that. But you can, if you look at the mini map in the corner there, you can also see little black things and stuff that indicate stuff that needs to be cleaned up. So if you step back and actually look at the house, you can see the outside of the house does not any longer, as far as I can tell, have any of those things. So you can go ahead and say that's done. And so now we can go inside. We certainly don't need the hose anymore. And you can see the place is a bit of a pigsty. So we can certainly tidy up some of this. Clean up any of the garbage and things like that. Some boxes and crap that we don't need. Press to dispose of. What is this? I don't really need that. If it says press to dispose of, then it's nothing that you can actually use within the game, so you might as well just dispose of it if you like. The rest of this stuff is just some random tools and things like that. And the walls are just in need of a paint job and whatnot, so not too big a deal. Of course, we can put a heater here and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do really quickly is, let's go in here. Yeah, this is just for the most part dirty, I think, and needs some new tiling and that. So you can actually go in here and get at your cleaning, and you just start scrubbing. And again, you can kind of look at the mini map and see some places that actually need the cleaning. Now, it doesn't show up. There's actually skill improvements you can get to actually show up more examples of stuff that needs cleaning. This house, I think it's for the most part clean. It looks like there might be some, maybe right here. Yeah, some stuff right there needs to be cleaned. And then over here by the desk. Oh yeah, right there on the desk itself. So it looks like if you look at the map, all the stuff is actually clean now. There's none of those things. And now you can see those red indicators here, and that is to purchase radiators and stuff like that to keep the house warm. And also like towel radiator like this, for instance, is also available. And you can do pretty much anything you want in the game. So for instance, we want to install radiator. You just tab over to the store, and we just jump in here to installations, I believe. Again, I've only played it a couple times, so I'm still trying to get used to some of the directions on where you find things. And what we're going to want to find is a radiator. Here we go, just a regular old radiator. And you would just buy this, and you go to install it, and when it lines up... Now, I don't think we can actually buy it right now because this bed might be in the way. So I have to hold the bed here. Move it out of the way, and now we can probably go ahead and buy that radiator. And as you can see, if it lines up green, then we can move it. I'm going to do it directly below this window. And then once you've placed it, you've got to install it. So you just got to perform the indicated actions like this. Like that. And turn the bad boy on. And boom, just like that, we have a radiator. And then if we go ahead and pick this back up, and it might not go in exactly where we wanted to because we now have a radiator, it's a little bit in the way. So we would have to move this down a touch before we can put this back in. Now again, we can, like what I probably actually would do, and in fact perhaps we'll do it during this episode, is I might take some time and go ahead and fix this place up and put in some new furniture, make it a little bit nicer. So, like I said, you can come in here, and then again, you can purchase. Let's go back here. There is a mountable towel radiator for living the high life, if you will. And basically, you just no, I didn't know. Is it supposed to be up like that? And they just hang the towels up. I was thinking that it might hang down, but perhaps because the toilet's in the way. What if we... Oops. What if we... Is it going to let us move the toilet? It doesn't seem to be giving me the option to actually move the furniture in here around. That's interesting. Like if this here... Not that I wouldn't want to sell that. I might be able to remove it, or okay, I could just go ahead and sell this way. There we go. It is going to let me do it that way. So you can see the fixtures in place to actually install stuff as well. So yeah, you would just come in here, go tab, and now it's not going to allow us. It still wants to point up in the air, I guess. I guess it doesn't really matter, but I would think you'd want it to be down a little bit easier to put your towels and take them off. But hey, I'm not going to complain. If that's what the game wants me to do, then that's what I'm going to do. So we just, again, we put the things in place. Screw the things in. Turn it on, and boom, we have a towel rack. Now, you're probably thinking, this place is pretty gross. How do we make it nicer? Well, you start by selling off all the crap. Let's sell off all the crap. You know what? You don't want it, sell it. It's gross. Let's just sell it, right? In fact, the only thing I'm not going to sell is, I guess we'll keep the tools for sentimental sake, and we'll keep the laptop because I think that's pretty important. And we'll even get the stuff off there, and boom, just like that, we're good to go. And from there, we can start to paint the walls and throw up some tiles and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get us set up. I even sold the door. And when I get back in just a few moments, we'll begin to take a look at some of the different things you can do to make this place a little bit nicer. All right, everybody, we are back. And we've got things cleaned out in here. We've actually got some plans in place as well. So we've taken all of our things that we're going to just choose to possibly keep. Maybe we'll keep some of it. Maybe we won't. We're definitely keeping the computer. Maybe we'll keep a couple of these other pieces around as well. Who knows? We'll see what happens. Now, I've made a couple of choices here on possibilities for the outside of the house. And I had this one possibility here, and then I had this more simple brick look here. And I put a couple of them up to take a look, and I feel like I actually prefer this. For a small, simple house like this seems a little bit too busy and extravagant, and really needs to be more of an accent to me on an exterior as opposed to an entire house done in that. And because it's such a small house, we don't really have a lot of options for creativity. So I think what I'm going to do is we're going to go with this guy right here. And what we're going to do is go to Tile and Paneling, and we pick one of these guys up. And we plop it down just like that. And we just keep on going all the way around the house. So what I'll do is I will continue with this. And I'll see you in just a couple of moments. Alright, everybody, we are back and we are almost done with the exterior of the home. I just have a few more pieces to put down here and we are going to be good to go. Also, you can see I had to purchase a ladder because I needed to be able to reach a couple of high places. Up top, as you can see here, that little high space there you can't reach unless you actually get up on a ladder. And also I grabbed a little bit of paint to put on the undersides here and here because the bricks didn't look obviously very good there. I think that tone went pretty well just to kind of polish off that area. So we'll just come around here, just a few more pieces to go. You can see here it's pretty quick. I'm actually going pretty fast as well, putting these up. One of the things the game provides is basically a skill tree that allows you to get better and better at all the things. So if you go in here to perks, you can see all these different skills for cleaning, painting, handyman stuff, demolition, building, negotiation, and gardening. So I've got some skill points here based off of having completed some different tasks. So you can see in here under handyman, I've got the ability to improve some stuff. So plastering, I'm 20% faster. I can make that 50% if I want. As a tiler, I'm already 20 and 50. I can actually make that 100% faster, which is what I'm doing right now. So you'll actually just go ahead and grab that one, and you'll be able to see how fast we are now. Negotiation, this just allows you to have different options for when you're trying to do jobs and sell your house and negotiate prices and stuff like that. I'm going to grab this upgrade ability here. And for now, we'll just leave the gardening one, and we'll just get back to our job, which is almost done. Like I said, got a few more panels here that will throw up. You can see how quickly my guy is doing these now. Because my perk is maxed out actually at 100% speed. So if you are able to hit your marks, you can put these bad boys up pretty quickly. Like this. I may need to buy one more package, I feel. Yeah, I'm going to need to buy one more package. So I need to go in here, go to store. And we're going to buy one more package. And we're going to throw up these last few. And then we'll be done with the exterior of the house. And as far as these ones that we'd already tried in the other one, you just have to put them right over top. There's no sort of demolition or removal process for changing up what you can do. You can just, same with paint or anything, you just go ahead and just keep trying new things and putting right on top of the other. And there's no real function in the game that makes that not possible. So there we go. It's all bricked. I think it looks pretty good. Simple, you know. I mean, there's nothing fancy for sure, but you know, it's tidied up and cleaned up, and something you'd be proud to come and see when you walk in to your front yard. Now, in here, I've made a few choices on the direction that we're going to go. I had an idea here in the bathroom. We just go with something kind of simple with these brown tiles. And these are pretty easy to stick up here like this. Same kind of thing as exterior, a little bit more of a process putting up the tile, but basically like that. I really like the look of those. It's, you know, nothing too fancy, but it's kind of nice looking. And we're going to just put that on this wall across here. And I'm also going to go choose some paint. And I'm just going to paint across here. And you can see I paint pretty quickly because I have my paint skill moved up pretty high as well. And you have to paint the sill as well. And I'm going to paint all around here. So the tile will come down this wall. The rest will be all paint. And I think that'll look pretty good. And then for out here, I was thinking what we might do is move the kitchen back here. Maybe throw in a small desk here to put our computer on. Just a little chair and maybe our monitor and that. And the bed will be here. And then, for instance, if we had a nice big monitor, we could even just watch TV from the bed. On that desk. We obviously don't have a lot of room. This is the epitome of tiny living, if you think about it. And so we'll keep that pretty simple like that. Now, what I want to do here is we want to go back to tiling. And I've got these tiles chosen out for the bath, or for the kitchen. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to like the way that they go or not. But I'm not sure if I like the blue, but we'll find out. I love blues in general. It tends to be how I end up choosing a lot of stuff, is to just go with the nicest blue we got. And I figured since this is going to be our place of abode for at least a little while, those will go there. And I was thinking this wall and this wall will get the tile. And then we go with this kind of neutral tone around here and along this back wall. And then we'll go with the more bold blue choice for paint. We maybe throw on this wall here and here. Like that. And whether or not those tones would mix would determine if we went with this plan. And then I like to go with a neutral tone on some walls as well, so you kind of get a contrast. That tends to be a pretty popular choice amongst my... I think these colors go well here. I think that goes pretty well there. Maybe a little bit more blue than a lot of you guys might like, but I'm going to go ahead and finish off tiling and painting the area on the inside of the house up. And when we come back, we will evaluate and see what you guys think. All right, everybody, we are almost done with the completion of all the interior walls. Just a few more licks of paint to go on here, and we're going to be all ready to go. As you can see, it does. Your first impression might be, man, that's a lot of blue. But it actually isn't so bad. Once you actually put your furniture in, and you know, we can use a lot more neutral tones for furniture and decorations and stuff. The walls, all this blue, all of a sudden becomes more of an accent than the feature tenet of what you're actually going to be looking at. So yeah, I think it's going to be pretty good. We'll take a look. I'm only about 90% sold on the tile in the kitchen. We're gonna have to see how it works with other things. I think I actually screwed this tile. Yeah, put a little bit of gray on that by accident. So we'll see what it looks like when we actually have some stuff in there for the kitchen. See what that looks like. The other thing you might notice as well is I'm actually putting the gray on the inside of all of the windowsills here instead of the blue, which is on this wall. And the reason I do that is because it helps create more of an accent, frames the wall and creates more of an accent for that particular color, to keep the neutral color on the interior of the wall, whether it be your whites or your grays or your beiges or whatever, and allow your bigger, more bold colors like your blues or your reds or your greens or whatever, or orange is really nice. It allows those colors to just be the feature, and if you put the blue on there, it becomes a little bit too much. It allows it to kind of create some more accents. So I actually feel like I really like the colors here, and of course the bathroom's done as well. So we've got our little bit of a what's this called again? I'm not sure if I can actually see the color unless I actually go into the it had a kind of a fun name here. Well, maybe slightly fun name, I don't know. What was that called? Light biscuit. That's what it was. Light biscuit. Who doesn't like some nice biscuits? So this is light biscuit color with this kind of bold tile, but I don't mind it too much. We're going to have to get our fixtures and stuff in there and see how that looks. But overall, I'm quite pleased with how this looks. So what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and put some doors in, maybe put in some furniture in the kitchen here. And when we come back, we will show you our progress. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you in a couple minutes. All right, everybody, we are back in, and as you can see, we've made some changes. We've added in our kitchen accessories, and we've gone with a new tile on the wall. After putting in the cabinets, which I actually really like the cabinets, we've gone with just a little hot stove here and a really nice fridge. And I like the way this is looking. As you can see, we did go with the new tile. I wanted something a little bit different. It was a little bit too bold. The blue was just a little bit too bold and out there, and it really wasn't doing it for me. Another thought I had too was I was thinking about throwing up possibly one or two hanging cabinets as well. So if you come in here to kitchen, kitchen. And we can, there's some hanging guys here, like this. There's a wide hanging and the narrow. So let me go, we went with sapple, and the dark metal, and the white front. Although, yeah, I think that looks good. With the wide, and then if we just went like, something like that. Just because it's a small kitchen, you kind of want to have stuff hanging up, you know, like you want to have some covered space up above somewhere. You could also do more here, but I was also thinking you can maybe have some stuff in here, maybe like a picture or something. I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of the idea on the kitchen. And then I had some ideas. We're going to want to get some other furniture in here. Obviously, we're going to want to get some beds. So we'll go in here, furniture, beds. And I liked this bed here, I think. Go with the double sapple, continue that through. We'll go with the dark look here, and it's kind of a nice bed. It's a little big, but I mean, you're not gonna want a small bed. I looked at a couple of the small beds. I just didn't feel like it fit. So I thought this was pretty nice. Get a nice piece of artwork above there if you wanted. I'm not sure if we can get bed sheets or something like that to put on top of that or not, because it doesn't actually come with any sort of thing. I'm not sure. I haven't looked into that before. And then desk-wise, we can go check out some desks. I've used that one in our first build. I liked it, but I want to maybe see if we can't do something a little different. These guys are a little too big. This isn't too bad. I actually like this. Does this come in this apple? Yes, it does. And let's go with, keep with some dark theme there. So let's go like this. And here we go. If we just fit that right in there, like that. That looks pretty good. We could stick a chair in there. We also have our laptop, of course. We could pick that up and stick that right there like that. That looks pretty good, I think. And possibly, like, just like I was thinking over here, just some sort of an armoire kind of thing, or some sort of storage. Maybe that's in cupboards, I think. And what do we got? That's not too bad. This is large. This would be really small. This is the one you'd want here. What else do we have for options? I don't mind some of these. These might be too big, but this might be narrow enough. How big is this? Let me just see. That's too big. So we definitely have to. We'd have to go with this narrow guy maybe. And then if we went with, it doesn't come in sapple, but if we kept it, how's that look? Not too bad. It's actually pretty good, I think. It was so tall that I'm not gonna be able to put a mirror in, which was kind of the idea, possibility kind of thing. That looks pretty good, I think. I don't mind it. It's too bad it didn't come in the sapple to match everything else, but I don't mind that. Maybe we can get a mirror like here or something. I don't know. We'll see. Not too bad. But the next thing I want to take a quick look at here was I wanted to show you guys some of the installations for the bathroom here. So I'm trying to remember. Bathroom. Yeah, so you can choose your different pieces here. I like this. And it would be consistent. Maybe, does the teak go nicely with... Does the teak go nicely with the... with that? Now this is one of the things I have a little bit of a complaint about with the game, is that you have to actually go ahead and install to actually see if it's going to go with what you've got on the walls, which is kind of annoying. So you press the assembly and you have to go through your things here, which is fine. I like this part of the game. It gives a little bit of a process. But it's frustrating that I'm going to have to completely install all of this. Like this. Oh, come on, there we go. And like this. Before we know if it goes. Which it doesn't really. But I could find a different color. I like that little thing. It's nice. Maybe a little small. I don't know. We could try find a different color for sure. For shower, sorry. Maybe something. Let's try this guy here, maybe. Let's stick with fairly dark colors. Let's go with that. And that's gonna go, where's that go? Here, right? Yeah, in this corner? Yeah, there we go. So actually, this needs to be small because this is really quite big. This is really quite big. In fact, it actually might be too big. Let's go ahead and get it installed and see what happens. Install the doors. No, actually, you know what? I think it actually goes pretty good. It actually lines up and creates a nice little divide where the tile is versus the paint. And I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. This will have to get changed out to a different color. But I'll do that in a moment. What I'm going to do is go ahead and grab a toilet. This is kind of a nice little fancy toilet. Let's go ahead and grab this guy here. Let's keep it simple. So let's go ahead and install the toilet like that. And we had to assemble it. Screw some things in there. And we're good to go. Looks pretty nice and clean. I think if we a couple little details and a different color of sink, and I think we're pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change out that sink to something else, and maybe throw up some details in here with some of the maybe some artwork and a few little pieces, and maybe we'll get this place starting to look with some doors installed as well as a nice little home. So I'll see you guys in a minute. Okay, everybody, and welcome back. We have got ourselves pretty much a complete home, a place to live, a place to rest our head between jobs. Let's go in and take a look. So, right out of the gate, you can see we've got all kinds of fun stuff going on. We have a nice little carpet over here and some accessories. Got a nice little lampshade in the kitchen here. And we've got some herbs up in the window. Added in some fun little stuff. That's a nice little kitchen. Compared to the little piece of crap we had over here before, it's a nice little place to make some food and fill your belly after a long day's work. We've got a nice little bed in here. I wasn't able to find any sort of bedding to put on it. I'm not really sure what you can do in that case. I'm not sure why they made a bed without bedding. I'm not really sure what the point of that is, but hey, who knows? Maybe it's the middle of summer, it's super hot, you don't even need it. Some simple artwork, nothing too fancy. Nice little wardrobe back here for storage and clothing and all that kind of simple stuff. We got our desk here with our laptop to do work at, and a TV, a little gaming system there to unwind with while you're laying in bed, or even sitting in your chair or whatever. And through here we have the completed bathroom. Oh, let's go inside. There we go. And yeah, so there you go. Pretty simple. Straightforward, just as we pretty much left it. A couple towels in that. Got a mirror up there. And I feel like all the colors flow really nice. Got a little bit of added accent there with the green. And overall, looks pretty good, I think. So that's where we will hang our hats between jobs. Just like that. Now, one thing I wanted to do, just be kind of the last thing we get done here, is I wanted to take a look at filling the windows with some stuff. I think in here we want the grays, so we'll just throw some of these up in here. Just need to install them just to put that final little finishing touch. I think the grays go well here. Ties everything in nicely without too much. There we go, like that, and boom. Assemble this guy, and one more of those over here, like that, and like that. And finally over here, I think I'm going to go with the blue, just to give a little bit of color over here. I'm going to add a blue. Nice little light blue. We're going to throw that in there like that. I think that's going to go well over here in the kitchen. Add that little bit of color. We lost that color when we took out the tile, which was too much, but that little bit of blue there actually kind of blends well with the grays, and ties in well with the other walls and that as well. So I think we're looking pretty good now. Compared to what this was before, I would say that's looking pretty snazzy indeed. Not too bad at all. All right, I'm going to call it there. When we come back to the next episode, we're going to dive in here, and we are going to find ourselves a new home to buy. And we're going to fix it up. We got almost only a garden here. We do have a fair amount of money. I grinded out a lot of missions, and we made a nice little profit on our first home. So we do have some options. We can probably even dive into some of this stuff in the $60,000 or $70,000 range, and still have lots of money to clean up. And make some really nice stuff. Home and a car. Wow. There's an option too. So we'll make a decision on those in the next episode. And we'll get started on our next renovation and house flip. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me. I hope you're enjoying this series. Be sure to leave a like down below. Make sure I know that you're liking it as well. Some comments. I'd be curious to see what you guys think of this game as well. And until then, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.